Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you once again to another episode of our monthly webinar on our Power BI series. Kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Clearly.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for making our time to be on the call this evening. Um, I know weekends are for resting, partying, and all. So it's quite impressive that we still take our growth seriously. So I'll be talking about what our webinar is about for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time. Um, this is ID Analytics' way of giving back to a vibrant community of data analysts. We are actually an organization that empower individuals, we empower companies as well to harness the transformative power of data through tailored trainings and consulting. So which means at ID Analytics, we provide training. If you're an individual looking to start out in the data field, or you are actually an expert or a professional in the data field looking to brush up, ID Analytics is the place to be. And we don't just train, we don't just consult for organizations as well. We empower our community, those we've trained in the past, those who are enthusiastic about data. That's what we have on the Insight Hub. So this webinar is exclusive for those who are actually in the community. So you are at the right place if you're looking to enhance your data skills. I'll be introducing our speaker for tonight, which is in the person of Mr. Toba Fasakin. He is a senior data consultant and an analyst as well. For those who've not met Mr. Fasakin, this is not the first time he will be coming on our webinar to take us through for us to gain from his wealth of experience. He is a data professional and he has been in this space for over 5 years, working with and analyzing data for data-driven insights. He has been a trainer and a consultant for a major part of his career. He has trained over 5,000 people in data analysis. Also, he has worked on several key consulting projects. Currently, he is in the financial sector as an analyst and at the same time, still mentoring and training people in the field of data. So I want to welcome us once again before I hand over the mic to Mr. Toba Fashaki, who will be walking us through some essentials in Power BI. So, Mr. Fashakin, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you,
Right.
thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. And thank you to Mosen. Thank you to, the Ag Analytics team generally. I would not want to mention names specifically. So good afternoon, guys. Trust we are good, and you are geared up for today's webinar. Like Mercy said, I think this is not my first time. So that means I probably did well for, for the team to consider me fit for this second time. And I want to believe it was vice versa. So that means they did well to me. That's why I can come back myself. So good evening, guys. The topic before us, I think I should just start because of time. So let me just quickly share my screen. We'll be looking at Power BI majorly. I want to believe we started Power BI in the last class, and it would basically be the basics, and we are looking at Power Query majorly today. Pardon me, I'm trying to get my screen up. Screen. Can anybody see my screen? Okay, good. So yeah, So as I was saying, we'll be looking at data cleaning fundamentals and techniques, and basically on Power BI. So I know that we've done a lot of stuff on Excel, which is a good tool and also a key tool when it comes to data analysis. But now we're in the face of Power BI, and from the previous webinar, I know that there was a bit of a Power BI introduction, how to use Power BI, what Power BI is used for, a lot of things, a lot of stuff around Power BI majorly. So, so what's going to data cleaning, which when you get yourself familiar with Power BI, the next thing you have to do is to start ingesting data, start transforming data, stuff like that. So that's what I want to look at majorly today. And I want to believe we all understand what data cleaning is or what data is. So I will not go over what data is. And like Messi also said, I also had a webinar last year, I believe, and it was around something like this. So maybe this is my niche. So it's around something like this too. So if you want to be able to link that, though I think that was in Excel, so you can still link that to this session so that we don't really go over a number of things I've explained the last time. Okay, so data cleaning is simply cleaning data, and we all know what data is. Data, okay, okay, I think Lisa has done this. So let me I think I need to do something quickly. So let me just quickly stop share. There was something I'm seeing that is not supposed to be. Okay, I think I see it. Okay, so let me share back. Apologies. Okay, so yeah, I was speaking about data, how data moves around business. So we always understand how data works, and for every business, you generate data on a daily. Most business, the ideal way of the ideal life cycle of the business is comes from, from your source. Maybe your source could be anything. It could be your ERP systems, it could be your SAP systems, it could be any core system basically the business uses. For people in banking, your Finacle, your Flex Cube. For people in investment, maybe your Navision, your CRM software. For people with probably in CX or HR, your CRM software. So those could be your source or core systems where data is coming from. Okay, so in an ideal data life cycle in business, data moves from the source and then it goes to the DB. So your data moves from source, it goes to the DB. Database is simply where data is stored, where data is kept. I was generating data from my operational system, for my system, what layman term can I use? I'm generating system for my, let me use my system basically. Maybe the core system of the business was installed on my computer. So anytime customers are coming to the business, they're buying, they want to buy from us, I enter their details of the system. So that's our core system where we record every transaction that happens, every business activity that happens is recorded on those core systems. So it depends on the department you are. If you are in HR, probably you're using CRM to record everything HR related, or you are in sales, you are using CRM to record everything sales related, everything you are doing. So those are core systems. The systems that are used to record everyday transaction, everyday activity, they are core systems to the firm. So that's where data starts from. That's the source of data. Now, from the source of data, data is now channeled. That's where pipelines and all are set, and then it's channeled to a database so that data coming from those systems are properly collected into a database. And when before data can be collected into a database, it would have gone through a series of cleaning. It would have been cleaned, refined so well that it sits pretty on the database. Of course, there are times when cleaning is not absolute, but ideally it should be clean. But of course, cleaning, like I said, cleaning is not absolute. There may still be a need for cleaning here and there eventually. So from the DB, then that's where the reporting tool actually now connects to the data connect to DB to pull out data for reporting. So this is the ideal life cycle of business. So the source data emanates from the source. It comes from the source. It goes to the database. Database is where the data has been refined, has been cleaned to some extent, and the reporting tool is supposed to just connect to that clean data from the DB and then report. And remember, I said, yeah, the data should be clean, but its cleaning is not absolute at times. You may still need to clean with your reporting tool. So this is the ideal data lifecycle in business. But for some reasons, and I know that probably some of us would have probably encountered situations like this where data is coming from the source, and then it only just moves to the reporting tool directly. The DB, which is supposed to be the connector to the source and the reporting tool, is missing. So that means that if you find yourself in a firm, or you find yourself in a situation where, where the source, you are just ingesting data from the source to the reporting tool directly, then you know that you're planning to do a lot of cleaning. Example is your data could be sitting in Excel and then you're connected to Excel directly. Or your data is sitting on SharePoint. You're connected to SharePoint directly. I mean, oftentimes, even if you are working in a system where it is a bit structured, there are times when you still need to connect directly from the source. You are ingesting data from an Excel online form, maybe a Microsoft form results. You are connected. That way, you are connecting to the source. You are connecting live to the source. You are pulling data from OneDrive. You are pulling data from SharePoint. You are pulling data from Excel. Those are straight to the source. There's no database in the middle. Of course, some people can still connect. I mean, run automation to connect data coming from Microsoft Forms, coming from SharePoint to the DB. Fine, but at times they do not. So when you find yourself in this source to reporting, you know that you will do a lot of cleaning. You do a lot of cleaning. You do a lot of cleaning. And then, like I said, even if you are doing from source to DB, you still do some cleaning, but maybe not a lot, because data is supposed to have been refined or cleaned before in the DB. But that doesn't mean you will not still see bins. As I said, data is not absolute when it's being cleaned from the DB. Can't say they've cleaned absolutely, it doesn't need anything. No, there are times you need to do a lot of, I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? So so in situations where they are connected from the source to reporting, that means that you need to clean data a lot. Ideally, you need to clean data a lot. But there's also a clause to, I mean, because I would not just want to say clean data a lot, there's also a clause. First is when you know that you do not have a DB in between, data going to the source should also be one way to ease yourself the stress of cleaning data a lot is to set up something people call data validation. Please let me go back to the chat so that I'm sure that I'm not speaking languages people don't understand. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? I want to believe we are good. So there's something called data validation. All right, data validation is simply regulating or restricting what people can do to a particular form, to a particular cell. So you are restricting what they can do to something you want them to do. So that is data validation. Let me give an example. If you notice that there are certain times you want to fill a form, you are leaving a space empty. The form will not allow you to submit. You entered your name in an email space. It will tell you no, wrong input. It will not allow you to submit. The reason why it is not allowing you to submit is because that form has been validated. So if you do not want to spend time cleaning data, when you know that you are just connecting from the source to the reporting tool, if you don't want to spend time cleaning data, that's why you need to validate the data, validate the form, validate the Excel sheets you want to give to people to fill, validate whatever. It's even the SharePoint site list, you can validate it. You can validate, set validations there. So where date is supposed to be entered, they're not entering names. Where they're supposed to enter number, they're not entering text. You can do all those validations on each source too. That way, you'd also save yourself a bit of cleaning stress. Because once data is messed up from the source, remember that there's no DB in between. Source is coming to report there. So garbage in, garbage out, that's what they call data. Same way it was entered in the source, the same way it will come out when you are pulling it or you're starting with your reporting tool. Because Power BI is one of those reporting tools which we'll still go into. But I just want us to understand how data works so that when we go into Power BI, it will be a bit easier for us. So even with DB to data coming from source to the database to reporting tool, it still needs a bit of your source should also be validated so that you are doing little or no cleaning in your DB so that your reporting tool can be fine. So this is the data lifecycle of business, and I've shown you the proper way and then the not so good way. I will not call it improper, but not so good, because there are times when you just have to be like that. But in an ideal situation, it should be from source to DB and to reporting. And then, of course, there can be in between, but this is the ideal way of doing this. So now, when your data is coming from source to your reporting tool, it's not every time, it's not represent a fact that your data will be dirty, or where will be dirty that needs to be cleaned. It's not represent a fact. So you need to do a check to know if your data is clean or not. So you need to do a check to know if your data is clean or not. If it is clean or dirty, if it is clean, of course, you go ahead and report. If it is dirty, you need to clean. So I would show us some steps of how to make your data is clean or dirty. I'll show us some steps to know if our data is clean or dirty. I mean, this is a proper way to really just scan through to know if your data is clean or dirty. So let me, just check for data structure before analysis. Before you go into analysis, you need to check the structure of the data to know if it is clean or dirty. So the first one is there should be no empty rows or columns in your data. What do I mean? Let me see. Okay, I think I have the data here. So looking at this data now, and this is a popular data set. I just had to quickly find this data set because I know that it's something most of us will be familiar with. So that I start from something familiar with us to something we probably may not be so familiar with. So this is a data set now. What do we think? Is this data set having empty rows or columns? Is it having empty rows or columns? Is it having empty rows or column? I love to have people chat. I love to have an interactive class. So pardon me if I'm demanding things from you time to time. So this data on my screen, is it clean? Or is it does it have empty rows or does not have empty rows? Does it have empty column or it does not have empty column? So those are the two checks. Does it have empty row? If it does not, good. Does it have empty column? If it does not, then you type no on both ends. If it has one, say no, no empty rows, but there are empty columns. So or vice versa. So let me see. Let's type, guys. Let's type. Or is it me that is not seeing our typing? Yeah, so let's do this. It's just a quick activity to warm us up. So let's do this. The empty rows and columns, okay. Others, please, quickly, because of time, so that we can cover a lot of things. So let's quickly respond. Let's respond. I've seen a response, so I need others to respond. Others, let's respond. Empty rows and empty columns. So the empty rows and empty columns, okay. I think that's similar to what Mercy also said. Ahmed, tell me, I see your response. Okay. So we are saying there are empty rows and empty columns, but are we sure there are really empty rows and empty columns? To actually answer it, there are no empty rows and columns. Favorites, and everybody who has responded, there are no empty rows and columns, and I'll tell you why. What you are seeing are empty cells. You are seeing empty cells. But to say a column is empty, that means the entire thing must be empty. Column A, this is column A now. That means everything in column A must be empty. Everything in column B must be empty, but it's not so. It's not so. Column B has column C, of course, scanty, but it has something in it. So it's not completely empty. Column D has this home office there, so it's not empty. This is not empty. These are not empty columns. They are not empty columns. They have stuff in them, so we can't call them empty columns. If you want to say something is empty as a column, that means the entire column from M down, nothing is there. From E down, nothing is there. From G down, nothing is there. From B down, nothing is there. That's where you refer to something as empty column. So that is number one. Number two, now this is not an empty row because here there are certain things in this row one. Row 2, there are stuff there. Row 3, there are stuff there. Row 4, row 5. So if you keep scrolling down to the last row of this data, there are stuff there. So there are no empty rows too. So yes, there are no empty rows, there are no empty columns. So that is something I want us to establish so that when we come across data set, because you are seeing the data is sparse, is scanty, don't just take it as, oh, it means an empty column, it means an empty row. You need to do a check. Do a check across the column or the rows you are referring to as empty to be sure it is actually empty. So in this case now, this data set it does not have empty column or rows. So that means is meeting this first check of no empty rows and columns in your data. If you see an empty row or column in your data, know that your data is dirty. You cannot go ahead and report to that data that way. So when you see an empty row or column, always take that empty row or column out of your data. It doesn't make sense. You would have a proper data to analyze by. So example is, if I come here now, then this column D is completely empty. So you can see it is, I also created this now just for the sake of the class. This one is completely empty. So if I go ahead and report to this data, the way this data is this column D is empty. If I go ahead and say I want to report, Excel will be seeing two different tables. It will be seeing this. Example, if I make it Control T, if I do Control T now, you can see where the data is stopping. Stopping after where it's seeing the empty column. But if there were no empty column there, I'm trying to make this as basic as possible. So there are no empty columns there. If I do Control T, so if I do Control T now, you can see that it's able to highlight all the data from column A to column M. All right. But if I do OK now, it will put everything in a table. So it's seen it as a singular table. But if there's a empty column here, okay, and I come here and I do Control T, you can see where it is stopping. It's stopping at this column C. That means it's seeing these other ones as a separate table. So anytime there's an empty column, and it works the same way it works for columns, how it works for rows. It works, it sees that there's a break for an empty row. Power BI, Excel, or any reporting tool whatsoever takes it to be a separate table. So you need to always remove those. So that you can have your data together at once. So that's one. Second one is so I need to run a bit because of our time. Second one is okay, sorry. So no total or subtotals in your data. That means that you should not have total or subtotal in your data. Remember, we are talking about data here. Data is not reports. Your reports can have your totals or subtotals, but your data must not have total or subtotal in it. Your report will have that, which is good. But in your data itself, that means this raw data coming from the source or coming from the DB must not have total or subtotal there. I want to know the difference between data and reports. Report is the eventual result of or output of the data. Data is the input, and then result is what comes. Report is what comes out of the data. So in the input itself, there must be no total or subtotal, because your report will still do the total and subtotal for you. So if you have the total and subtotal in your data already, you're going to do a duplication of numbers, and that way you will be reporting inaccurate numbers. That is that on that. So that's the second one. The third one is all data must be in a single column. The keyword there is a single column, not single row. So please, let's not take it for granted. Let's look at this now. Is the data in a single column? The data in this data, is it in a single column? True or false? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Is it in a single column? Yes, no. No, it's not in a single column. Okay. Let's quickly type. Let's quickly type. Is it in a single column? Yes or no? I'm only saying one no, guys. Let's do this. So data is not in a single column. Okay. Let me see. Are there other responses? Okay. So Augustine's response alone is what I have. I don't know why guys are shy from typing. I'm not going to beat even if you get it wrong. I mean, it's all for learning's sake. Even if you get it wrong, it's all for learning's sake. You would use that to know next time not to. So if you make a mistake, it will be easier for you to understand that next time this is not, so that you would not. Or if you keep silent, you think you are good, but in hindsight you may not be. So looking at the response we have, no. So we are saying the data is not in a single column. I beg to differ again. It's actually in a single column. It's in column A. The date is in column A. So they're the single column. It doesn't matter if you have ship mode, you have segments here. The column is this thing, this column A. That's what we are looking at. Remember the date, the goal is that data must always be in a single column. So this data is in a single column, is in column A. So that means it's a single column. If I come here now, am I seeing any dates here? So that means, yes, he met that rule. So it's in a single column. It's in a single column. Are we together? Do we get? So it's actually in a single column. Okay. Yeah, so it's in a single column. Now the next one is all unique data must have its own column. So this data thus far has met no empty column or rows in your data, no total or subtotals in your data. It does not have total or subtotal. It does not have all the data was in a single column. So that means it has met these three categories or these three checks. So these three checks: check 1 complete, check 2 complete, check 3 complete. Now let's do check 4. All unique data must have its own column. What does that mean? I said the question was about the dates column, the dates. Remember the rule was that all dates was in a single column. So I was asking that, was the dates in a single column? Nafisa, so that was the question. Is the dates or was the dates in a single column? Anyone you want to take it as was or is. So the dates is in a single column. Now the next check is to say all dates must have its own unique column. What does that mean? Unique column means that a particular column must be for a specific data, must be for a unique data. That means that a column cannot be for names, and it's also for age. I cannot put names of people in this column and also put age there. It's no more unique to a particular data. It's now for 2 types of data. Unique data all data must have its unique, every column must have its unique data. It means that every column you go to, if the heading is saying his name, that means everything that data must be named. I must not be seeing age. I must not be seeing date of birth or higher date in between. If I see it there, that means it is not unique and it is dirty that way. So looking at this data now, does it have unique data sets? Are the columns having their own unique data, true or false? Are the data having its own unique data? Okay. Are the columns having their own unique data? So someone is saying true. Okay. Other people, what do you think? Is each column having its own unique data, true or false? True or false? False, false, false. Okay. Oh, now you've had to change their mind. What changed? Home office is showing 3 times. Okay. Okay. False, false, false. Okay. Actually, I'll go with the crowd this time. Yeah, it is actually false. Not every column has its own unique data. And I would explain. First, for what Nafisa said, home office is showing 3 times, where home office is actually on a row. So we're showing 3 times on a row, not on a column. The check is that every column, so every column must have its unique data. So this one you are seeing home office is in a row, so it may be fine to come 3 times on a particular row. That is not a check to know if the data is clean or dirty. If it is when so when I say unique data, does not mean that example is I can have name or I can have department. Departments, I can have HR department come up multiple times in department column. That is fine. Does not mean, I'm not saying that every data set in that column must only appear once. That's not the uniqueness I'm talking about. I'm saying that the content of the column, example, I said if name is what the column is supposed to be, that column should be unique to names. I should not be seeing higher dates. I should not be seeing age in that same column that is for names. So that way, if I'm seeing date, if I'm seeing age, that means that column is no more unique. That column is no more unique. So, but if I'm seeing names, maybe I'm seeing Toba now appear multiple times, that's fine. So far, Toba is a name, that's good. So that Toba appearing multiple times is not the check we are checking for. It is to say the kind of data in that column. Is this a particular, for example, now look at this place now, look at column A. What are you seeing? You are seeing ship mode. Ship mode is supposed to be a type of data or a unique data. You are seeing segment. It's supposed to be a unique data. You are seeing other dates. So these three data are speaking to three different things. So that means this column is not unique. First class, I can't really determine, but look at this one, first class consumer, and then I'm seeing numbers in between. If this column is a text column, maybe first class consumers, let's be first class consumers, or why am I seeing numbers there? So this way I will know that this data set is not actually unique. I mean, each column is not actually unique in this case, because I'm seeing different types of data in a particular column. A particular column should only hold a kind of data. Then I'm seeing numbers, I'm seeing text, I'm seeing dates in the same column. I don't know if this is clear to us now. Good, Augustine, thank you for putting it in a better way for me. Every column should represent one attribute. Good. Glad that we got that. So yes, so this data set has failed that test. So all unique data must have its own column. So he has failed this test. So that means that obviously, okay, I was even talking about. So all unique data must have its own column. Now the next rule is that there should be no obstruction around your data. What does this mean? That means that anything not related to the data should not be around your data. Obstruction is maybe coming here and say, I have a webinar. I want to remind myself of the webinar by 4 p.m. 28th February, 28th March, sorry. So I want to remind myself so that anytime I open this sheet, I'll know that I have a webinar. So maybe I want to do this. So that I will not forget the webinar I have by 4 p.m. Maybe I'm working and I know that I can be exhausted with work at times. So I want to put something up that will remind me so that as I'm working, if I see it, I will always remember that don't forget about the webinar for 4 p.m. So imagine I have this in my data and then I leave it like this in the data. It is wrong. It's going to cause issue when it comes to reporting. So when you see obstruction around data, that means obstruction is something that is not related to the data. You are seeing it around the data. Always take it out. Don't leave it there. This I have a webinar by 4 p.m. 28 March is not related to this data set at all. So it's an obstruction. So this has to be taken out before you can say your data is good. So that's obstruction around the data. Now, single row of heading. That means that every column must have a single row of heading. It must not be two column headers. It must not be two column headers. So it has to be a single row of heading. All right. And they're looking at this now. So we may argue that it's actually a single row of heading, but I'll still say there are two rows of, even in this column here now, there are three column headers here. Ship mode is a column header. Segment is supposed to be a column header. Other dates is a column header. So it has defaulted this rule. It has broken this rule. So there are no the column headers are not just one. There are three in column A. In column B, we have two column headers. Maybe consumer is not column header, but it looks like a column header. So that way, they are booking the data set has booking two rules. It has booking the unique data must have its own column and single of heading. All right. So those are the two checks. The data has booking. Now, that was the question I wanted to ask you guys. That what do you think? Is this data dirty or not? And the answer is yes, it is dirty. I mean, Nafisat, you beat me to my question, but that's why now we don't cite. So that means it is dirty. Okay, this data is dirty because it failed one, even if it is one of these tests it has failed, that means that it is a dirty data. I mean, it's a dirty data. Okay, I'm making this webinar look more like a training session, which is fine. I mean, the goal is that we are able to get things, even for those who probably watch after now. I'm making it as basic as possible so that you're able to get things, and I'm at the same time mindful of time. Yeah. So how do we now clean this data? Once you have noticed that this data is dirty, how do we clean the data? That's where Power BI comes in. That's where Power Query comes in. In Power BI, Power Query is a tool in Power BI and Excel for data cleaning. Okay, since our topic is data cleaning, so we are going to use Power Query to kind of clean this data. And then once we clean this data, we'll see how good it will look after. And some would probably be asking me that why am I using Power Query? I can actually clean this data in Excel, which I will not dispute. You can clean this data, but one is to take you time. But I'm not even concerned about the time to take you because my own is give me a clean data. So if you like, go and spend your nights cleaning the data. By tomorrow morning, I want to see a clean data. That's the goal. But the reason why it's beyond, Excel can clean this data for me. One reason people use Power Query is because Power Query can automate your cleaning. It can automate your cleaning. That means that once you clean it once, You don't need to, if the same data is coming again, maybe next month data is coming again, you don't need to start cleaning again. It will, so far the structure is the same, it will maintain that cleaning order you have set and then replicate the cleaning on that new data set as to come. So that's one of the benefits of Power Query over, oh, I can clean this data in Excel. Apart from, like I said, apart from the how tedious it will be to clean this data using normal Excel or using whatever tool you want to clean, Power Query would automate the cleaning process for you. And then cleaning it also would also be super easy on Power Query. Let's see. So who can tell me, before I even go, who can tell me what do you want to do? Remember, this is our step. So which of these steps, which of this life cycle of data are we doing? Are we doing the first one or the second one? Are we doing the first one or the second one? Are we doing the first or the second one? Okay, Augustine, so automatic cleaning first. Look the first to me. So automatic cleaning makes sense if we know the structure of the inconsistency. Augustine, I'm not sure I understand your point. That cleaning first before reporting. So looks like the first one to Christiana, looks like the first one to Augustine. Actually, it is the second one we are doing. Remember, the first one is from the source, where data is coming from, to the DB and then to the reporting. This one now, there's no database. Data is coming from Excel, and then from Excel, we're plugging to Power BI straight. So there's no database there, except not to refer to Excel as the DB, and that would be a lot of contention. So Excel ideally should not be a DB, but some people make Excel as DB, which I will not subscribe to. But ideally, we are taking data from the source to report it. That's what I would say we are doing. Okay, so now let's go back to this. So we'll come to this point. So I'll say get data. Our data is in Excel workbook. The source is Excel workbook. So I'll go to my Excel workbook. This is the, okay, I need to close it. Sorry, I need to close this data here. So I'll just click on this. Is this data 2 I need? So I'll say, so when I click on the data, I've connected to my data set. That same badly structured, the one I showed us in Excel, I've connected to it, so you can see this is it there. Okay, and then I will say transform data. Transform data means you want to clean the data in Power Query. So I'll say transform data. And then when I'm here, you would see, you see the data set. Just like it was in Excel. Okay, just like it was in Excel. So you're seeing your, let me delete these steps. I want to believe we have an idea of Power Query because, like I said, even if you don't have an idea, there's a video, there was a webinar message, maybe alongside this, when you're posting the recording of this session, you can probably crop that previous recording so that people can, that can go hand in hand. Because the certain things are probably not go back, like the interface of Power Query, you're talking about the applied steps or the basic themes in Power Query. I probably will not be able to do that because of time. But if you plug the other one, I know I talked about those in the other session we had last year. So you can plug that for those who probably would need it. Okay. So yeah, so we have this data set, and you can see the ship mode, the segments, other dates like this, the first class consumer, and the like, so like this. So this was how we had our data. This is how our data is in Excel, but we need to clean this data to structure it to ensure that every check, every data analysis structure check for our data must be met, so that we can have it, we can now go ahead to report to that data. So for me to do that, I need to first do what? I need to transpose this data. That means I need to turn this data around. I want to turn this data around. For me to turn this data around, there's something in Power Query is actually a drag and drop tool. I'm just clicking, you are clicking, and things are happening. So every cleaning steps you want to take there, you just need to be able to click on them and then it works. You guys see, I say remove rows. If I want to remove rows, I want to remove top, bottom, anything I want to do. If I want to keep certain rows, can keep them here. I want to remove columns, can do that here. I want to choose columns to keep, can do that. I want to split my column, For those who understand text to column, text splits in Excel, you can use all these. I can group by, for those who are used to group by in Excel and SQL, you can use first to as head. You can do a lot of cleaning. So you're just clicking in Power Query. It's a click and drop too. But in this case, I come under the transform tab and I will do a transpose. So I'll do a transpose of this data set. Okay. So having done a transpose, that means that transpose is simply meaning that I'm inverting the table. What was in column, I'm moving it to row. What was in row, I'm moving it to column. Okay. Let me check something. Okay, that's fine. So this one now, this ship mode, segment, other dates, all these ones, they are supposed to be ship mode, segments, other dates, they are supposed to be column headers. But before I do that, okay, I can do that first. Now let me do that. I can use first two as headers. That means I'm telling you that move this first go as column headers. If you look at it, ship mode is supposed to be the column header because first class, same day, second class, standard class, they are under ship mode. Segment of our customers, you have consumer, corporate, home office, so they are under the segments. But other dates, because we transposed it, other dates add the dates in the column again before, but because we transpose, so they now move to a single row, which we'll deal with later. So I need to promote the headers, which is fine. I'll need to fill this ship mode. I'll fill it down so that the first class is repeated and then like this. So having done this, I have my ship mode, I have my segment, I have my dates as the column headers now. And then my numbers, maybe my sales or revenue, they are still in between the data sets. You can see them. So you can see they are still in between the data sets. So I'll do a trick in Power Query now that would move this into their proper space. That trick is called on pivot columns. So if I click on this one, click on this, and then right click, and then I will say on pivot other columns. On pivot means that take the data sets, the ones that there are column headers from the columns I didn't highlight, put them in one column, and the ones in the body of the data, that means in the rows of the data scattered around, put them in a single column. So that's what pivot means. It will take all these column headers, this from other dates down to this last date, to put all of them in a single column. You know that they are on different columns now. This column, so they're all on different columns. So what on pivot other columns? Because I've highlighted these two columns. So I want to unpivot the other one. So what it will do is it will take all the column headers to put them in a single column, and then take everything inside of the rows of this data and then put them in another column too. So let's say it. So I'll say right click, and then I'll say unpivot other columns. So unpivot other columns. Once I do that, you'll see that your dates now, your other dates, everything is here. Everything is here. And then your values. So these are more like the sales they made from these customers on this particular date. So these are the sales. But there's still an error with these dates because I'm saying _16, _18, _14, _53. So what I can do is I can do something called split column. I can just choose to use by delimiter, or I can say number of characters, or by position. Anyone works. So I'll say number of characters here. So I'll say as far right as possible, and then I will do 3. No, I will not do this, sorry. It has to be by delimiter. It has to be by delimiter. So rightmost, and then the delimiter I want to use is okay, there's no hyphen here. Underscore, sorry, I think it's underscore that I had here. Hope it's underscore. Yeah, it's underscore. So what I'm simply doing is to say that I want to split this column, this attribute column, because I'm seeing that at the end of the day, there's an underscore, and that underscore would make a mess of it. If I turn this to a date column, this underscore would start flagging error. So that's what I want to do. I want to say split the column. So once it splits the column, and I say okay, it's going to divide my column for me. So you can see that all the one that had underscore, they be moved to a separate columns. So underscore, this 16 here, 18 here. So I cannot take this column and delete it. I do not need it. I can easily delete this column. remove this column. So I'll just say remove. And then this one now, I can rename it to order dates. And then I can call this a dates column. This one I can call it revenue. Now I can give it a currency. So this one ship mode is fine. So if you look at this ship mode now, these are the ship modes there. Consumer, these are the consumer there. These are the, so these are the dates, and then these are the revenue. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Okay. Nafisat. I want when you watch the video, you will get it. It's not that complicated. It's just easy, basic stuff. So I'm just taking it. Whoa, we have 51 minutes. So Nafisat, you probably may need to watch the recording. Now, for those who are probably not clear, just need to watch the recording. Sorry about that. So once I've done this, I can now come back to my home and then do a close and apply. So I do my close and apply. It's going to load my data to Power BI. Then I can start reporting with my data set in Power BI. So it's going to load, and then I have my data set in Power BI. Remember this interface from our last webinar. This is the interface from our last webinar where you can now start doing your reporting. So while this is loading, let me also go to another, because I want to show us different stuff which Power Query can help you do. Let me go under here. So there's this file, there's this sales table. It has 2014 to 2021 sales data. Remember that because this is still loading. Okay, this is downloading. So we have a data set here. Now the data set here, clean and ready. So if I come under the table view, you see your data sets here, and then everything has been cleaned. Okay, so everything has been cleaned properly. So that is that on that. So this way now, if you look at it, it has met every rule, every check. So the double unique column data now is now unique. This column is now for ship mode alone. This is for segment. This is for other day. This is a revenue. Single of heading now has been met. So every column is now having a single row of heading. You are not having multiple column headers anymore. So that means we are good. We have cleaned this data the right way. So let's go to the next one. So we have the sales data coming from 2014 to 2021. So I want to ensure that, because actually I should not be cleaning data. I should not be reporting for 2014 data, and the 2015 came again. I'm reporting 2015 again. I would go over and start doing the reporting I did for 2014 data. I'll do for 2015. I'll do for 2016. I'll keep doing it every year, or every quarter, every month, or every half year. It doesn't make any sense. So far the data is coming the same way. They're having the same structure. You should not clean your data. That we should automate that cleaning. It should automate that cleaning in the sense that if the next year data is coming, once I've done my report in 2014, all I just need to do is, if 2015 sales data is coming, carry that 2015 sales data, dump it in the folder my 2014 sales data is, and then I refresh my Power BI or my Excel or whatever tool I'm using. If I refresh it, it should capture 2015 sales data in my report. Once it captures, then I can maybe add a slicer, and then I can slice that 2015 data, and then I'm seeing 2015 data. So that's a proper way of doing reporting. Not just that you keep doing reporting every time. Every time you're doing reporting, every month, every quarter, every half year, every year you're doing reporting. Life should be easy. So that is what we want to look into now. And I know I mentioned this earlier, how Power Query can automate your cleaning for you, automate your data reporting process for you. Okay, so that's what we want to look at. If you look at this 2014 sales data, and if I open it now, let me see. So yeah, so we have this now. So we have transaction ID, customer ID, location ID, item ID, sales ID, other product ID, blah blah blah. So down to column N. So let me open 2021 for you to know that they all have the same structure. So this 2021, and then if you look at it too, they all have the same structure. So once your data have the same structure, when I say the same structure, that means the same number of columns, and the column headers have the same names. There are no changes in their names. If one is called other data, and then the other on the other sheet is called other primary dates or other dates, even if it's just one S, it will not work. It will flag, it will start doing throwing error. So it will not work that way. So you must ensure that the columns are the same across board. So So that's what we want to do here. So we want to be able to look at this to see how we can automate this entire cleaning. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Let me close this one. So we'll go into Power BI and then we do something quickly in Power BI. So I can go back to Power Query, or should I do a blank report? Let me do a blank report. Let me do a blank report. And then I want to connect to that folder. If you look at the data, it's in a folder. It's called cost file save. So I will go to that folder. So I'll get data. Now this time I will not be getting from the Excel workbook again because I want to connect to a folder. Look at the folder, there are lots of Excel workbooks there. So I'm not connecting to the Excel workbook, I'm connecting to the folder. So I'll come under more. So under more, you see something called folder. This is the folder in your system. So I'll connect to this folder on my system. Okay, connect to this folder on my system. And then I will browse the path of the folder. So this is the folder under cost files, sales. So sales is the name of the folder, and I'll do okay. Then I would say okay. And then I will say, so I can do two things. I can choose to transform the data, or I can combine. Ideally, I want to combine it because I don't want to transform one by one. I will just combine and click on combine here. So I'll say combine and transform data. So combine and transform data. This will now take me to Power Query. Take me to Power Query. So yeah, just to take me to Power Query, and then I'll just click on this as the sample file. Okay, I guess it's opened on my other. Okay, so if you look at it now, if I come under source name, if I load more, see that it has added 2014, 2015, 2017, 2021 sales data here. So everything is here. Everything is here. And you can see transaction ID, the same way you saw them in Excel, transaction ID down to order date. If you check these dates now, date will be from 2014 to 2021. That will be the maximum date. Okay, he's not able to load everything, which is fine. Or even I can leave the source name column here to be able to trace things down. So this one I have combined everything. If I load here, see everything, every year data. So, and then what you are seeing here are just the sample files, and then this is the transform file that you can use to transform and do any cleaning, whatever you want to do on this sales file. Okay, so I mean this one it has automated it for you to know if it has automated or not. I'll come here. Let me copy this data. I want to copy it for some reason, and then I'll paste it here. Okay, I'll paste it here. Then I'll now rename it. I'll rename this 2022. So now that there's 2022 data, if I go back here to Power Query now, and then I refresh this, if I refresh this preview, now, you see that if I come under my source now, you see that 2022 would have been added there. So you can see that 2022 is added. So that means my data before, or let me do something. Let me just, let me close and apply. So 2014 to 2022 sales data, that's what we have here. Let me close and apply so that we have our data loaded so that people are not confused on what we are doing here. So let me plug the system. Okay, good. So we have the sales here now, and if I come here, just for clarity's sake, okay, so that you are sure of what I'm doing. If you look at the other dates, the maximum date you see will be 2014 to 20. Okay, still not showing everything, but I know that there is 2022 data here. Let me see. Okay, there's 2022 data. If you want to be sure, I don't want to start. If you want to be sure, if I filter down 2022 here now, but 2022 will still be showing 2021 because I only changed the name, so it will still be showing the 2021 data set. Okay, but yeah, there's the 2022 record here. Okay, so now let's say I want to make 2023 happen too. Let me copy 2016 data set. Of course, when I paste this, all right, I paste in Power Query. I mean, paste it here, and I'll change this the name to. I'll change the name to 2023. So this is I'm supposed to change the name. If I change this to 2023. So what I'm doing is in the real life a situation where you're having 2021, 2022, 2023. I mean, you're having a yearly data that way. I want to, so that when you build your report once, you don't need to start building every time, every year. You can just dump that same data. So this one copying and pasting and doing is more like I'm saying I'm dumping a new data set into this folder and see how Power Query would be able to automate it and refresh that data to the latest one. So if I come here and then I say, I just simply refresh this. So once I refresh this data now, and then I come back here, so that there will be 2023 data sets here, you can see. And if I filter by it, it will be 2016 because that it was 2016 data I changed. So the other date will be 2016. So this data will be similar to 2016. And you just change the dates and the name of the file so that you can see that Power Query can also help you automate that cleaning. I mean, automate that data generation. So if you're doing reporting every year, I do report first year with 2014 data. Next again, I'll do reports to 2015. No, you don't need to do that. Just do it once. Put everything in the folder. So far there's a new year, just carry that new year data, dump into that folder if connected Power Query to, it will replicate. It will go and then replicate that cleaning you've done. I hope I've not overshot my time. Mercy, I think there should be Q&A, or should I go on?
Yes, there should be time for questions. For those who need clarity,
okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing Nafisa to probably need clarity, but yeah, let me just leave this. I don't want to do that, but let me leave this here so that we can do Q&A quickly. You have 3 more minutes. Questions? Okay, I think people are saying they understand. Mercy, people are saying they understand that. That means I'm good at this thing. People just got it at the first point of doing it. So.
Okay, that's a good one. So if you know you have questions for Mr. Fatoba, Mr. Fasakin.
That's a good name.
So you can ask a question, anything around Power BI, even if it's outside the topic being treated today. He's a consultant, so you're in good hands. Ask your question now. You have him live and direct. All right, we have Sheyi Solomon. Kindly unmute and go ahead. Sheyi Solomon said, I noticed the data didn't fully show all the years.
Yes. For some reason, so it is when I go into the filter that is not showing all the years, but I can actually make it show the years. Maybe I want to extract the year out. So I mean, I could make it sure that maybe I'm going to Power Query, extract the year into a separate column so that because this one is not showing all the years because this date is a whole lot. Imagine you can't show this data, maybe 2021, we had 365 days in a year, or 2021 to 2022. So the data is a lot, so you can't show everything. So if you want to see the years, you probably would either you are using the source name or you create a column for years in Power Query, and then you can now filter by the years to see any year you want to show. So that's what. But because the data is a lot, so you will not be able to show everything. Solomon, okay, good. Any other question? Any other question? See that some people don't even know where to start the question from. Is that the case? Some people don't even know where to start from.
That's quite funny. You ask anyhow, and then you get your answer.
Yeah, I believe.
You don't always have this kind of opportunity to have an expert in the room. So here is a rare opportunity for you to talk to Mr. Fatoba, ask him questions.
Mercy, keep making that name Fatoba.
Oh, sorry. Fasakin.
Yeah,
Apologies.
that's right.
In the
Okay.
absence of no question, I think you can now wrap up, Mr. Fashakin.
Okay, so thank you so much, guys. I mean, the goal of this session was to introduce us to Power Query. And I know that in ID analytics, there are a lot of there are a lot of boot camps that probably are ongoing that'll take you deeper. This is just the surface. And you can even ask your questions deeply. I know there are a lot of, like I say, people, a number of people don't even know where to start the question from. Some people are saying I've done magic. Some people are saying I've done abracadabra. But with a proper training class, you will be able to ask in-depth question and they'll be able to get answers to your questions and all that. So this is just the fundamentals. There are a lot of things. There's deeper than this. Okay. So and I know that in-house identity, they have a number of courses that would take you, or a number of bootcamps that would take you so well in all this. So I would just want to say thank you so much for having me. Do not stop learning. Continue to learn. The more you learn, the more you get to know. All right. And then we see at the top. Thank you, guys, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fashaki. It's been an insightful session. We really appreciate your presence. And thanks for running us through the fundamentals. If you're new here, probably you're not on the Insight Hub already. I'll be sharing my screen so you can scan the QR code to navigate to the platform. So we have our YouTube channel. You want to brush up, you want to read up, you can go to our YouTube channel, and you can as well ask questions on the group, on the Insight Hub group. It's a community where we share and learn. I hope my tab is up.
Sorry, Messi, your screen is not up. Maybe you want to drop some links on the chat instead. It's coming up.
Okay. All right. Kindly scan the QR code to join the Insight Hub community.